Right, new home sweet home patch has arrived. So let's look at quick changes and what is happening here. So patch note of 0.3.0.09, which is updated today, 23rd of April 2021. So bug fixes, fixing Chinese translation. Alrighty then. Bug fix, including animation canceller, so cancel animation during fall animation, tunneling, okay, lift usage, portal pods. So these are all like teleportation you used to do. So when you go into pods and things like that, you could use animation cancel, and those have all been completely removed now. So you can't do that anymore. Okay. Bug fix regarding incorrect greedy pot numbers opening usage. That's if you have to purchase loads of greedy pots and opening at the same time. Sometimes game would crash or slow down and just wouldn't show them opening, but you actually open them and so on. That's minor. Bug fix regarding Bell stuck animation in swamp map. So Bell, if you were to teleport to a survivor falling down from a ledge, you could get stuck. If you were teleported in mid-air, basically, you could get stuck in the swamp, and you couldn't get out unless you teleport again. So that looks like that's been fixed. Bug fix regarding duplicate items that's fixed. Bug fix effect regarding Yuri's camera flash still effective on Spectre in invisible mode. I'll come back to that in a bit because that's not fixed. Collision adjustment in hospital and swamp maps, so maybe that's something to do with hitboxes and stuff. I don't know which one they're talking about. Bug fix regarding prisoner receiving fall damage from hook skills. Right, didn't know that was a thing, but hey ho. Okay, balance. Adjusting cooldown time for using air vent and tunnel pods from 15 seconds to 25 seconds. That means you can't use the same pod again or same tunnel again for 25 seconds anymore. This actually applies to elevator as well. I'll explain that in a bit as too. Adjusting cooldown of treasure chest from 70 to 90 seconds to 80 to 100 seconds, so 10-second extra has been added for the treasure chest to spawn again. Now these two are obviously nerfed survivors, and this treasure chest one is especially a big nerf, especially for the end game. So already, if you were to try to exercise a Spectre, it is very RNG based, and unless you are playing in like a team with one guy consistently farming all the items in the middle and just so that everyone can have a chaplet and whatnot, it doesn't happen. It's very, very hard to organize that in a public play. So this is a massive nerf in that sense, especially with the RNGs. And coming to about the RNGs, so look at this: adjusting limit of items and rate of treasure chest discovery. So I don't know what the rate of treasure chest discovery is. So we kind of know that chaplets are kind of hard to find. Health potions are kind of hard to find, but you can find rattans quite easily. You can find holy waters quite easily. Sigils, stamina drink, and they are easier to find than the others. So combine this item rate and treasure chest respawn. All these are basically survivor nerf. And last of all, cooldown on character's unique perk item will reset when picking up new items. So this is meant to be like, say you pick up an item like a rattan or something like that on, say, a Tim, and then they have to their cooldown is supposed to reset on that, but it doesn't really happen that way right now, and I go through that in a bit. Cool. Others, adding HQ to hide interface during observing mode, displaying item name after getting repeated items from greedy pot, adding keybind for movement control for survivors, ping specter, chatbox all, and closing use of message shop while it's searching for room process. Okay. So keybind, WSDA is what I have here. So that's for my keybind, and most English keyboard will be like this anyway, so not a problem. But if you are using like French keyboard or German, something like that, their keys are slightly different. It's not WSAD, so that can be changed to any other key, which is great. Oh, they have updated that now. So you got pings, middle mouse button or spacebar, ping hunter F, chatbox team T, chatbox or Y. They've all changed that too. However, you may have a bug in the game that it doesn't work when you try to use them, because that will happen to me. So what I had to do was default everything and change it all back manually. So if that happens to you, just make sure you just change the default and change it back manually. You'll just have to do that. Okay, so let's talk about the cooldown increase from 15 seconds to 25 seconds for all travel. So elevators, vents, and pods, right? So I'm using Tim as an example because Tim's a 25-second cooldown on the knife, right? You can't use, this is what you used to do. You can just go up, go down, and go through this hole, call the elevator down. You got 15 seconds exactly, and this was almost like an infinite loop. You can just do this over and over and over again, and you can't do anything. Now it's properly nerfed, so you can't do this anymore. And this is similar sort of case for swamp maps and all that as well. But it doesn't mean you can't use this anymore. It doesn't mean it's completely useless. You just have to use your, well, use your brain really, essentially, and try to find a new plans, new path where you can go. Now, I'm not the best person for this, okay? I'm your average person, just who likes to like analyze shit like this. So, one of the things I thought you could do is just get out of there. If the specter is chasing you, these walls are actually quite good to get chased. There's also a vent right next to where I just dropped as well. Well, don't go into the vent straight away, go out if you have full HP, and go through this vent, and then go drop down and repeat. And you got enough time to like call the elevator and everything as well if you do that. So there are other ways around it. So it's not, it is a nerf. I'm not saying it's not a nerf. It is a nerf, but it was strong loop that survivors could abuse the hell out of, and there's nothing Spectre could do. But now it is actually been adjusted. Okay, so there's a bit more to the game. Now you can't just run. You can't just press W and Spectre can never catch you. That's no longer the case. What you now need to do is use your items a bit more, use your perks a bit more, use your WASD movement to dodge hits. Okay, you cannot no longer press W. Don't think of this as a blank nerf to survivors. While it is a nerf, it's not an unfair nerf. This was ridiculous. There is a reason why Spectre Q was so short and Survival Q was so long. Because people could just do this forever. You can still, by the way, you can still lose a lot of time chasing a person down through these pods. And same in the hospital as well. Right, moving on. Next one. Yuri blind. Even though the bug fix says it doesn't work, it's a bug fixed, it still works. Even when the Spectre's blind, even when Spectre is invisible, you can still do it. I've tested it a few times and it still works like a charm. So that's not been fixed. Perk items reset. So if you're holding items, right? So say be like a chaplet or incense or anything like that, your knife, as a Tim, your knife disappears. So this chaplet's been held. If I drop it, my knife is gone. I got cooldown. Right? Same with Alf. It's same with Yuri's camera. You can drop them as well, and then your item just disappears. Right? This is in the patch note. I don't think this is the way they intended, but it is in the patch note. Now there is a way around it, as you can see on here. If you got a 1 second left on the cooldown, you can use the item, and a second later, the item, your perk item, comes back up. So you can still do that. Right, and lastly, item limits. I'm not 100% sure what the item limit is right now. I'm pretty sure they put that because of the whole dude perk. I got about 20 plus items on here and nothing's really changing, so it shouldn't really affect most of our games in general, basically. Right, and that is it from me. If you have any questions, leave them down. If you have any questions, just leave them down below, and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.